POCO is finally venturing into the Ultra status, and I'm finally able to share with you guys my opinions and my experience of using the F7 Ultra as well as the F7 Pro from POCO. Both of these devices are offering us some of the latest technologies, and of course, the Ultra is a new venture for POCO. It's providing us a status that we haven't seen from them before, and a class of a device that, again, also we haven't seen from them. It's literally checking off every single box, and we're going to talk about all of the cool things that both of them offer and what makes the Ultra so special. This is TK, and this is my review of the POCO F7 Pro and the POCO F7 Ultra, the brand new line of devices from POCO. Let's check them out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So in front of us we have the brand new POCO F7 Ultra, the brand new one here in that beautiful golden color. And of course we have the POCO F7 Pro. And you've noticed that they're continuing their beautiful color, the black and of course yellow here, or basically golden color that we've seen POCO devices for quite some time, and it matches them basically. On the left, just for reference, this is going to be the standard Pro sitting next to its box, and this is going to be the Ultra. Now first and foremost, I'll probably say is there's a lot of similarities between the two of them, but one thing I will say that both of them are going to be provided to you at a very good bang for the buck experience. And what I mean by this, even though we're going with the Snapdragon 8 Elite on the POCO S7 Ultra, we're not going to be paying the same prices as we've seen other devices releasing with that processor. And the same thing goes with the 8 Gen 3. Although last year's processor, it still is a very strong and very capable device. Now, as far as the main features between the two of these devices, there's going to be a slight difference in battery and performance. The POCO F7 Ultra does actually allow us to go all the way up to 120, basically 120 watts of charging, but it is featuring a 5300 milliampere battery with wired and wireless wireless charging. So we now have wireless charging as well as 120 watts at that 5300 milliampere. On the F7 Pro, we have a 6000 milliampere at a 90 watt charger, and it is included in the box, but there is no wireless charging. The camera stack on the back is also a little bit different. We have a basically flagship experience here on the Ultra, dual 50 megapixel primary and telephoto, and a 32 megapixel ultra wide. Dual tone LED flash on the right side. On the F7 Pro, we're basically looking at a 50 megapixel primary sensor with an 8 megapixel ultra wide present on the back, and a 20 megapixel on the front as opposed to the 32 that we have on the F7 Ultra. Now, I really like the fact that both of these devices include chargers in the box. They also include the USB-A to C cable to be able to charge them. 120 for the Ultra and 90 watts for the standard Pro. The last thing, of course, is they also do include some cases in here. Although I wish they were transparent to be able to enjoy the colors of these devices, they do provide us a protection, and there is a screen protector installed on both of the 6.67 inch displays that we have in here. So one of the main things about the display that we have in here is that both the Pro and the Ultra feature pretty much the exact same display. They have a punch hole camera in the front, again at 32 megapixel on the F7 Ultra and 20 megapixel on the F7 Pro. Although not exactly the same version, they are running basically HyperOS 2.030 and 2.040 on the Ultra as opposed to what we have on the Pro. But again, both of them based on Android 15 with a January 1st year, basically January 1st, 2025 security patch update. As we talked about them before, the configurations that we have in here are slightly different. Now, as far as the Pro, there's going to be two versions of it. There's a 12.256 and a 12.512. Those are the two different configurations and slightly different colors. Again, all of them are going to be running the 8 Gen 3, but pretty much a standard 12 gigabytes of RAM with the ability of adding an additional 6 from the storage. As far as what we have with the Ultra, we have a 12.256 and a 16.512 configuration, which is the one that we have in here. And this one's going to be running on the Snapdragon 8 Elite platform. Now this one's the 8-core version, not the 7-core. And of course, the different model numbers, you'll be able to see the different names in here in case you want to be able to screenshot this for where these are designed to go. Overall customization's pretty straightforward. We have the Google Feed, Google Play services installed, everything. This is, again, the global version of this device. And then, of course, swiping on the left side gives us access directly into the notification. Swiping up directly takes us into the app drawer, and you're able to pull up the search bar at the bottom. One thing I'll probably say overall is you're probably wondering is about the performance of what we're going to get here. Starting off with Geekbench 6, we almost have a 3000 score on the single core with an 8725 on the multi-core. Absolutely one of the best scores we're able to get. Not the best one. We've seen others that cross the 3000, but I've run it a few times. This one was actually the highest I was able to hit. Here we have a 2124 on the 8 Gen 3 with a 6744, and this is going to be basically as far as what we get with Geekbench. Let's go ahead and switch over to N22. And this is pretty much where the 8 Elite's going to shine. Basically, 2 2 million, well, 2.8 million is going to be roughly the number that we're looking here at, opposed to 2.1 or 2.2 if you're going to round up. And again, they're respectable to where they are, but essentially what you see here says beating 96% of users and beating about 84% of users, which for the most part, again, top-notch, top performance devices that are running the latest chipset with beautiful displays and amazing cameras. And we're going to definitely talk about the camera performance on that side. Now, one of the beautiful things that we get in here is, of course, the performance and the capabilities that we've seen in the past, as far as the capability of getting pro video and, of course, the ability of shooting in log. So those are things that we typically have seen them, maybe I would say, you know, gate kept to a certain point with a higher quality or basically flagship devices. The really nice thing is that both the Pro and the Ultra are featuring log recording when it comes to video. Both of them are also going to be featuring the capabilities of going up to 8K 24 frames per second for the main sensor on the back. Now, that's going to be obviously the best resolution. Now, if we jump into the front-facing camera, one thing that I'll probably say, this is where it kind of changes a little bit. We're still pretty much just capped at 720 or 1080p, although we have a 32 megapixel camera. I'm hoping at some point we see an update that pushes through the functionality of giving us 4K on the front. But other than that, we have different modes. We have portrait mode. Again, here we have a dedicated 50 megapixel camera to be able to give us some of those beautiful portrait imagery, where we have basically here a main sensor with an ultra wide and an 8 megapixel. So experiences are going to be a little bit different, front-facing camera experience again. And of course, we have additional options in here. You can customize them, download them, reorganize them. Director mode is in here. And you're also, if you happen to have two different versions of these devices, you're able to actually use one device to control the other one and setting it up and basically use that director mode that we've seen from Xiaomi. Let's go outside real quick and do some audio and video testing using both the Ultra and the Pro. So we're going to start off with the POCO F7 Pro. This is the front-facing camera, and we're shooting at 1080p 60 frames per second. That's going to be the maximum resolution we're getting here. We are at the Gardens by the Bay, and this is just a quick demo of the audio and video on what you should expect. Now, switching it over to the main sensor on the back, and we'll then switch over to the big guy, which is the F7 Ultra. Now we're using the main 50 megapixel sensor on the brand new F7 Pro. 4K 60 is going to be the resolution we're using for this video, although we can go all the way up to 8K 24 frames per second. It's the same as the one we get at the F7 Ultra. Hopefully this is a pretty good experience. I feel like this is going to be the best experience you can get on this phone. Front-facing camera looks great, but the main sensor on the back is going to be outstanding. Now, switching it over to the Ultra, we have a much higher resolution front-facing camera, although 1080p 60 is still the maximum resolution. I'm actually at the Gardens by the Bay here in Singapore, and you'll notice there's a lot of beautiful scenery behind me. I'm at the actual Sky Bridge, and right behind me here, you can see the flowers. There's additional ones there, and even the Sands Casino there, which has an amazing view from there. But this should be a pretty good audio and video example of the front-facing on the Ultra. Again, 1080p 60. Switching it over to the main sensor on the back, we're using the main 50 megapixel sensor right now to shoot a 4K 60 frames per second clip. Now, the really nice thing about it is the telephoto also gives us the ability of shooting at 4K 60, and that gives us the ability of seeing that little panoramic shot that I'm showing you guys right now with the background that you can see here. We're in Singapore, we're looking at the beautiful skyline, and the benefit of that is the ability of shooting and having a versatility of getting closer to the subject without having to change the lens too much. You're switching lenses, but you're getting the same capabilities. Now, the ultra-wide is a little bit different, and to be able to use all three lenses in video, you need to shoot at 1080p 30 frames per second. Anything higher than that, and the resolution kind of hinders the functionality of switching lenses. If you want to be able to just use the main sensor in the telephoto for the 4K 60, as you saw in that original clip, that works best. Or if you want to be able to shoot 8K, again, the main and the telephoto will give you that. So I wanted to take a quick second and talk to you guys about both of these phones after using them for an extended amount of time and even testing them here in Singapore. The biggest thing I'll probably say overall, performance-wise, they're both absolutely fantastic. Battery life is really good, even when traveling, using a local SIM, or even using them in the US. Speed tests are actually pretty comparable, as long as you're able to pick up 5G. For me, I was able to test it on T-Mobile in the LA area. But as far as the overall impressions, I'll say this, that the F7 Pro is a very good device, and it primarily will end up being that you live in one sensor as far as the camera. The 50 megapixel camera on the back is going to be the best performer on that device. Best resolution, best quality, best everything. Even if you want to be able to shoot log, you have that on the Pro, on this guy, the Pro. Now, the overall performance changes dramatically when you go over to the Ultra. The Ultra is really kind of put in a position where you have three really good sensors. Although there's some compromises done on both of these devices, I'll say that overall 1080p 60 on the front is not necessarily a bad thing. It just, for me, I was expecting with a 32 megapixel camera here to have a higher resolution, you know, maybe 4K 30 at the very, very minimum, but we don't have that.
Also on the back with this one, even though we have a 32 megapixel ultra wide, we also are capped at 1080p. We don't have the ability of going to 4K. The 4K resolution here is capped pretty much for the main and the telephoto, the dual 50s. What I would probably say is there's some tailoring being put here to bring the price of this device to be a very affordable flagship and performance king. The 8 Elite, and of course, as you saw with the N22 and all the scores that we saw just not that long ago in the video, overall tells you that this device can perform and outperform many devices on the market. The Gen 3 is no slouch by no means. Please do not discount this. If you're looking for sheer performance, you're not going to be disappointed with either. But I feel like the 8 Elite here, with the capabilities that we have in here, Genshin Impact at 60 frames per second consistent, the cooling system that we have in here, the fast charging at 120, is really kind of just showcasing what they're able to do. So you're going to get performance, you're going to get consistent performance, and you're back up and running in a very quick way. I'm not sure why specifically we have a 5300 as opposed to a 6000 milliampere, but when it starts looking at what you want from a performance standpoint, I feel like both of them are going to perform very well. The selective compromises I'll probably say is essentially, no video out, also no SIM card, no eSIM, not no SIM card support on either of these devices. I feel like this could have been an easy win for them because of course people like to travel, play games, use these devices. The F series typically is a flagship series devices from POCO, so just keep in mind it's always been their best performers. So cameras, you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to get a chance to check out a lot of those images from both the Ultra as well as the Pro. And you're going to see what I mean, definitely, that not only is the performance there, it's sustainable and predictable. So overall, very happy. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Let's get back into the video.
Now, as you saw there, the audio and video are absolutely look fantastic. Again, on the main sensor on the Pro, we're still getting some really good capabilities, 4K 60, 8K. The main sensors on the front, again, 1080p 30 is going to be the maximum we're able to get there. But I feel like this is pretty much what they're trying to guide us, is use the main sensor on the back as well as the other sensors on the Ultra to get the best performance. Now, let's go ahead and quickly do a quick audio test. We have the volume set to 100% on both of these devices. We're playing our favorite song, Alex Scrindo. We're going to start off with let's go ahead and start off with the Pro.
Jack it up. Jack it up.
I feel like they're staying true to their performance, and both of them sound very good. They both are very loud, they're very pronounced, and no basically distortion at the high levels. So you're not going to be disappointed in the performance that we're getting here. Overall, from audio, both of them are featuring stereo speakers. Both of them feature multiple microphones as well, as you heard that in the videos. Now, when it comes down to gaming and the performance we're looking in here, we really have a very similar experience to a certain point. First and foremost, yes, the Gen 3 is not as powerful as the 8 Elite, and we are actually able to push those functionalities when we're starting to render video, start producing more content. But in general, from a gaming experience, I feel like both of them are going to give you a very similar experience, and it lives up to what POCO is known for when it comes to their F series. It's the best performance, and now with also some of the best cameras on the market. We have that side launcher. We still have that present here, which we've seen before. You're able to boost the performance up to 120 frames per second. And as you can see here, Call of Duty Mobile at launch supporting 120 frames per second on all modes. Not just the main mode with multiplayer, but on all modes. Now, when we start looking at both of these devices, as you're seeing with the gaming experience, you're not going to be disappointed. You have very similar experiences, although you'll save some money on the F7 Pro. Where the F7 Ultra kind of pushes a little bit further is where we're getting the higher charging speeds. You're able to go all the way up to 120 watts. Now, that means that the 5300 milliampere battery that we have in here can get you back up and running much faster than the 90 watt on the 6000. Keep in mind, larger battery, slower charging, takes a little bit longer than a smaller battery, higher charging. Again, it's still over what I would call them the 5000 standard number. It's at 5300, and we have wireless charging as well. The camera performance is next level, and we're going to move into that and start talking about those experiences. The images that you're looking at here are all the way from LA, different areas in LA, but also from Singapore at the launch event. And what you're seeing here is the capabilities where the F7 Ultra is going to start basically knocking it out of the park. We're starting off with the Ultra because I feel like a lot of us are clicking on this video for the Ultra. And the cameras that you're looking here are basically a 50 megapixel primary sensor with OIS. We have a telephoto lens that gives us some of the best portrait imagery that we're able to get. We also have a 32 megapixel ultra wide, so a dedicated camera for every single mode, but they're high quality cameras. And a 32 megapixel camera on the front facing camera, again, mostly done for selfies and videos and so on. But I think at the end of the day, the capabilities and what we're getting here is a new venture for POCO. The Ultra is truly living up to its name, and I feel like those are the things that we're going to appreciate. Now, if we start switching it over to the F7 Pro, it's not going to disappoint if you're loving or living in the main sensor on the back. And I feel like that's where the F7 Pro is kind of going to be living in here. It's going to give you a great experience up to 8K 24 for the video, as for, of course, 4K 60. And of course, when we're starting to look at basically best recording, audio recording, and every capabilities we're able to do, you're going to get the best experience there. And those images, again, some of them from Los Angeles, at home, as well as even at the launch in Singapore, but right before the launch. So when I'm kind of summarizing the experiences, what do I feel like is the right device for you? First and foremost, again, the F7 Ultra has a lot of capabilities, and there's certain things I'll probably say there's some concerns on my end that I wish we could have had those features on the Ultra, because again, when you say Ultra, you're expecting everything. We don't have eSIM support currently. It's primarily dual SIM on both of these devices. Also, we don't have video out on the Ultra. We only have standard charging, again, the 120, as well as the wireless charging. And I wish we had both of those. As a person that travels quite a bit, and I also love to use AR glasses or XR glasses, I love the ability of using that USB-C port to the next level. So those are a couple of things I probably would say I hope they could have included them. But other than that, I feel like where it's going to come down to is, what are you looking for? If you're looking for a great gaming device and you really love the POCO line, I think the F7 Pro is definitely going to check off all the boxes for you. From the charging speed to the battery capacity and of course the performance of the A Gen 3 with that beautiful display that we have in here, 12 gigs of RAM is way more than we need. I feel like the Pro is definitely going to do it really well for you. Where the Ultra pushes it to the next level is the cameras, it's the overall performance, and of course, the truly productivity level that you're able to do with this device. As far as, again, the 8 Elite, the 16 gigs of RAM, and of course, the capabilities of going in with the 120 watts charging. So you're able to basically do just a little bit more things faster. And I feel like if you're going to see what the pricing is, because I can't share that with you guys because they haven't shared it with me yet, it's going to surprise you how little you're paying for something like this. Because all the rumors that we're hearing right now is that this is going to be a great deal at launch. So with that being said, I do want to say thank you very much to POCO and thank you for checking out this video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of these devices and what would you like me to focus on in the next video? This is TK, and as always, thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.